Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
Rest in peace. I will introduce to you now my mystery partner, led to the ring by his manager, Brother Love, weighing in at 320 pounds from Death Valley. I give you the Undertaker.
Soon all mankind will witness the rebirth of the Undertaker.
Good for you, Triple H. But I'm going to let you in on something. I ain't the people's champion. I ain't no rattlesnake. I'm the dead man. And if you try me, I'll make you famous.
3 ain't enough now. I need 5. Welcome in Jim, Ryan, Matt, Tim, and intern Mark.
I'm at a point. This time, the cowboy really rides away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday, and happy Thanksgiving. We hope that you had a great meal and are enjoying your Thanksgiving day, however you're spending it this year, and hopefully you had a wonderful day. We are still the podcast of the millennium. We have tons to talk about this week, including the Undertaker's farewell, the third-party situation, and much more. Make sure you check out 3countthursday.com. That is our homepage, where you can follow all our social media. Our merchandise is over at whatamaneuver.net.
What a maneuver.
Thank you, Tim. Our Patreon page, patreon.com/3countthursday. You can also use our promo code 3count at collarandelbowbrand.com for 10% off of each and every order. Our home network, of course, NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. And you can hear us daily at leapsports.com. Ryan, that would be?
It's LEEIB sports.com.
That would be the one. So, boys, hope you are doing well. Obviously, we told everybody last week that we were recording. We are not actually live on Thanksgiving night. So we're here on Monday, and I have Monday Night Raw here to my right. So if anything noteworthy pops up, I will be sure to say it. So you probably won't hear anything from that tonight. But let's see. Tim,
How you doing?
A happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you all are staying safe and enjoying whatever kind of normalcy you can get out of your Thanksgiving holiday this year. Be sure to leave all of your dishes underneath the Christmas tree, and Santa niece will come by and lather them all up for you and get them spick and span ready to go for your next meal.
I will do that for each and every one of you. Absolutely. Ryan.
How you doing?
Oh, Jim, I'm just so full from eating all that turkey and other delicious foods that I had today, this day of Thanksgiving. My fingers are all pruny from doing the dishes right before sitting down to do the podcast, but alas, we made it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna eat, goddammit.
Matt,
How you doing?
Matt, how you doing?
Doing well. I mean, at this point on Thursday, I'll probably be on the sofa, bourbon in hand, football on the TV, digesting my Hodecker celery, courtesy of Mark. Thank you for the care package, good sir.
Wait,
appreciate
he
it.
sent you celery?
It's a housewarming gift.
Yeah, I never got one of those.
I got to take care of you.
Thanks, Mark.
Your celery must have got lost in the mail.
I must, I'll get it. I'll get it sometime around Christmas or something, and it'll be rotten by then. And intern Mark,
How you doing?
You know what? I'm doing great. It was a great Thanksgiving. You know, it's a little different this year. Maybe not as many people are coming over. You know, we got to be safe. So, you know what? We can celebrate Thanksgiving every day. We got to be thankful. So, just not the last Thursday in November. Let's be thankful every day.
absolutely well said, Mark.
Still enough people for a Hottenstein dance party, though, right, Mark?
You better believe it. There ain't no party like a Hottenstein dance party because the Hottenstein dance party don't stop.
Well, you just moved the dance floor out into the outside courtyard over there at Hottenstein Estates this year, correct?
That is correct. The south lawn, we have the courtyard is relatively big, so we went out there. I mean, the weather wasn't too terrible. It was a little rainy earlier, but you know, we could do the electric slide a little bit easier out there.
There you go. There you
A
go.
nice socially distanced outdoors dance party for the times.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah, it's funny. My wife and I joke most years, because we both have split families. We always joke that like one of these years we're just gonna lie to everybody, and so we're just gonna have holidays by ourselves. This wasn't exactly what I was shooting for, but
have you guys
got it.
Have you guys seen the quiet dance parties?
No.
So it's a trend that's going around where basically you can have a dance party literally anywhere, and the DJ brings a bunch of headphones, and everybody listens to the music in their headphones and dances, but anything else could be going on.
Interesting.
I feel like
they do
not
something
the
like
newest
that
one that
on TikTok.
I feel like one of the Screams movies was like based on that.
No clue.
The one that they put out like last year, 5 years ago, whatever. The newest one, not the new one that they're recording. The newest one.
Last year,
Wait,
5
so
years
the
ago,
newest,
1997.
the newest Scream movie?
When did? Yeah, look up when that came out.
Scream
4?
Like
Scream 4, my guy. Scream
years
4.
Ago?
I don't know.
Like
When
9
did Scream
years
come
ago?
out? Scream came out, what, 10 years ago? I don't know how old Scream is. I don't fucking know.
We were in
I don't
like
play this.
middle school.
I don't
when
play this
Scream
game
came
well.
out.
You know that.
The first
What was that?
Scream.
We were in like
I don't know.
grade when that came out, right?
Isn't Philadelphia like right down the road too? See, I'm not good at this shit.
Just past the outlets, down 30.
Just down.
Just a stone's
Ryan, did
throw.
you rent Scream 1 at Blockbuster?
Scream 4 was 2011, so yeah, that's 9 years old. That's my bad, guys.
Okay, well,
Great film. I liked it.
very good.
I mean,
Now-
for someone who doesn't like watch a lot of movies, you have stacks and stacks of them.
Well, I think a lot of those are.
These are all wrestling.
Say
These
a
are all
lot of wrestling, right?
DVDs. This guy. That's like my comedies. That's it, and then it's just a bunch of porn.
So is it literally just
Porn
every
DVDs?
version of
Come on.
Not Another Teen Movie just stacked on top of each other?
I
Continued
have two
extended
versions.
cuts.
I do have two versions of Not Another Teen Movie: the irregular, and I think there is an unedited version in there somewhere.
What about the super edited version that actually injects comedy into the movie?
Oh,
You're an asshole. We don't need that.
Wow.
Those
Oh,
are fighting words.
shit.
You know, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and this comes as no surprise to at least Matt. I have maybe seen 3 of the movies that they parody in Not Another Teen Movie. Everything else, no fucking clue what the reference is. But I find it funny.
So what? You probably saw what? Varsity Blues.
Never saw it.
How does that happen?
You saw Breakfast Club?
Never saw it. Oh wait,
Okay.
no, Breakfast Club. I did see
So,
Breakfast Club.
I
That one I saw.
Excuse me. I have a list of all the movies parodied in Not Another Teen Movie.
All right, hit him.
Oh,
I
this
want to count
thing
up
good.
mine as well because
All right,
I
let me
probably
answer them
don't have
honestly.
many.
Okay. Grease.
Saw like half of it.
So you okay. Airplane.
Never saw it.
My Bodyguard.
Never saw it.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Never saw it.
Porky's.
Never saw it.
Risky Business.
Nope.
The Karate Kid.
Yep.
16 Candles.
Never saw it.
Better Off Dead.
Nope.
The Breakfast Club.
I'm sure I've seen that. Then yes.
Just One of the Guys.
Never even heard of that.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
That's 3.
Lucas.
Nope.
Pretty in Pink.
Never saw it.
Can't Buy Me Love.
Can't buy me this list.
3 O'Clock High.
Never even heard of that.
License to Drive.
Nope.
The Original Naked Gun.
Yep. Oh, wait. Nope. I saw the one with 33 and a third.
Heathers.
Nope.
Dazed and Confused.
Still on 3.
Rudy.
I have seen that shit fucking film.
No, fuck you.
Clueless.
It was offside. Fuck you.
Clueless.
No, never saw it.
Can't Hardly Wait.
Can't. Nope.
The Faculty.
5. I've seen The Faculty. Jon Stewart was in that.
Pleasantville.
Nope.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Nope.
American Beauty.
Nope.
American Pie.
That's 6.
Cruel Intentions.
Never saw it.
Detroit Rock City.
I saw that because of fucking James.
Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
All right, I'm up to 8.
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Nope.
Election.
Nope.
Jawbreaker.
It's a candy.
I saw Jawbreaker, but I don't think it was the one you're talking about.
Never Been Kissed.
Never seen it.
She's All That.
Never saw that.
Varsity Blues.
Nope.
Almost Famous.
Almost not gonna get to 10.
Bring It On.
I'm trying.
Dude, Where's My Car?
That's 9.
Road Trip.
10.
Unbreakable.
Nope.
And Save the Last Dance.
I saw 10.
I've seen all but 3.
Wow. So I've seen 26. Does it say how many there actually are? You don't have to go back and count them if it doesn't.
It does not, but I can really quick.
Because
It's a fabulous film. I recommend everybody go watch it now that we wasted 10 minutes of your time.
But
no,
I'm really, I saw 18 of them. I'm shocked because I don't really watch movies. I saw more than you did, Smokey. I can't believe
That actually does surprise me.
43.
Yeah. 43. Okay, so I've seen
saw
26. So I've seen over half.
I've seen 40 of them.
Jeez.
I
So
saw
what were the
less than
3 that
half.
you didn't? Do you remember?
Tim,
Run it back. No, I'm just kidding. Don't run it back.
They were all like the obscure titles.
Lucas was one of them.
No, Lucas.
Lucas.
No,
I used to
never
work
even
with
heard of that.
Lucas.
That's the boy's name.
I know Jawbreaker. You didn't include Jawbreaker.
I saw Jawbreaker.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Huh.
Is that a
Ryan, how
fart?
didn't you see Naked Gun?
I saw Naked Gun 33 and a third.
What about
Why did-
2.5?
Why did you see that but not the other ones? Did you just happen to stumble on it on TV or something?
No, it was too late to go back and watch it.
Gotcha.
They've been out so long.
So, like this year, I think was the 40th anniversary of Airplane. So it was kind of being like, I've seen it on TV and stuff. Since they're kind of not re-releasing, but would you go watch that now, since it's newer this year that they're or is it you just?
I have no clue what that's even about. Is that the
what
one
do
with Nicolas Cage in it?
No, that's
In the
Con
airplane?
Air. That's Con Air.
Well,
No clue. No clue.
here's the thing, Big Jim, is by this time next year, we'll be doing a 20th anniversary show of Not Another Teen Movie.
Oh my God!
It came out December 14th, 2001.
I'll
Just jerked off in your French toast.
I'll take care of that on my discussions with the Nobody podcast.
Yeah.
So I'll fall on that sword, so we don't have to.
That'll be
I
the
appreciate
biggest,
you.
most watched episode we've ever had on that show, Jim.
It probably will. Okay, I do want to highlight. There is one independent show. Well, it's two shows. But this weekend, CCW and Valor Pro Wrestling are presenting Crimson Weekend. It is Friday and Saturday night. Both shows are at the Eagles Hall in Lebanon. Tickets are $25 for each night, but if you buy for both, you can get the pair for $40. Socially distance, wear a mask, all of that sort of stuff. The doors are at 6. Bell time is at 7 both nights. Matches include BJ Walker versus Dorian Black for the heavyweight title, Ed House versus Toby Farley for the traditional championship, Adrian Bliss versus the Butcher Backlund, Violence Incorporated, which is Rob Noxious and Malcolm King, taking on, I forgot to include who they are taking on. That's my fault. Mal Havoc versus Melvin Poindexter, General Kiesel versus JT Funk, and The Truth versus J-Cat and Professor Graves. If you can't make it out to the show, or you don't feel safe going out to the show, for COVID reasons, it is streaming. It is going to be streaming on viewstub.com. You can search either CCW or Valor, VALOUR, and you can buy each night, or you can buy both as a combo. So viewstub.com, you can search CCW or Valor, and you can stream it. So you can check out some independent wrestling here in Central PA from the safety of your home. So that's exciting news.
I have to say, I have always enjoyed Malcolm King's T-shirts.
He does have good T-shirts. Absolutely.
I loved his shirt.
They're always very good. So guys, I did actually prepare our weekly segment here as well, and I'm gonna cover both days, both the record day and the date that this will air. So I'm gonna hit it here. On this day, on November 23rd, we have one birthday. Aaliyah from NXT was born in 1994.
Oof.
How old do we feel?
So old. Jesus Christ.
So I was 9. Let's go around the room. I was 9. Tim, you would have been
8.
Ryan?
I was 11.
Matt, I would assume the same.
10.
You were 10, and intern Mark.
Leah could be my daughter. I would have been 19.
Wow. No kidding. All right. So yeah, she was born in 1994, and then Ivory on Thanksgiving night, the 26th, was born in 1961. So I'm going to hit some things from November the 23rd. On this day, 1989, WWF held their 3rd annual Survivor Series on Thanksgiving Day from the Rosemont Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois, in front of 15,294 fans. The show featured 6 matches and was headlined by the Ultimate Warrior defeating the Heenan family, with Ultimate Warrior being the sole survivor. On this day, 1994, WWF held their 4th annual Survivor Series on Thanksgiving Eve from the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas, in front of 10,000 fans. The show featured 6 matches, was main evented with The Undertaker defeating Yokozuna in a casket match with Chuck Norris as the special referee. On this day, 1997, WCW held their 3rd World War III pay-per-view from the Palace at Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan, in front of 17,128 fans. The show had 9 matches and was main evented by Scott Hall, winning the 60-man World War match to earn a WCW Heavyweight Championship match by last eliminating the Giant. On this day, 2008, WWE Survivor Series took place at the TD Bank North Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, in front of 12,498 fans. The show featured 7 matches and was main evented by John Cena beating Chris Jericho to win the World Heavyweight Championship. And finally, on this day, 2014 WWE Survivor Series took place at Scott Trade Center in St. Louis, Missouri, in front of 12,000 fans. The show featured 8 matches. And the main event, Team Cena defeated Team Authority, which removed the Authority from power. This was also the night that Sting made his first appearance in the WWE. And I only have two from Thanksgiving night, November the 26th. 1987, WWF held their first ever Survivor Series pay-per-view on Thanksgiving night from the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield Township, Ohio, in front of 21,300 fans. The show featured 4 elimination matches, and in the main event, which you can hear the watch along in our archives, Team Andre beat Team Hogan, with Andre the Giant being the sole survivor. And finally, 2006 WWE Survivor Series took place from Wachovia Center in Philadelphia, PA, in front of 15,400 fans. The show featured 8 matches and was main evented by Batista defeating King Booker for the World Heavyweight Championship in a last chance match. Those are the events that happened. Both November 23rd and 26th in pro wrestling history.
I have some breaking news.
Oh, I like breaking news. I have the sounder here somewhere.
A new member of the Firefly Funhouse has appeared.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Friendship Frog.
Friendship Frog.
And he has been destroyed by a mallet thanks to Alexa Bliss. So, gone too soon is Friendship Frog.
We hardly knew ye.
He did say indubitably, and he wore a monocle and a top hat, and apparently Friendship Frog was born in 1980.
Okay.
So younger than
I'll be
Aaliyah.
darned.
1980 to 2020. Yeah.
Older than Aaliyah.
Older than Aaliyah.
Older
Younger
than
I.
me.
Older than me.
Already in the top 5 frogs of all time,
That's true.
in my opinion.
I mean, he's definitely better than Peace Frog, right? Definitely better.
100%.
100% better than Peace Frog.
Yeah.
I mean, he's behind
Michigan J.
behind
Frog.
Michigan J. He's behind Kermit.
What about the WB Frog?
That's Michigan J.
Oh, is it really? I didn't fucking
Yes.
Mute him.
I didn't know
Get
that
him out
either.
of here.
I saw it.
You never saw Looney Tunes?
It's possible he
comment.
didn't.
Man, how many
They were
other
already. I think
frogs?
was Looney Tunes popular by the time Ryan was born. He just.
Yes, I've seen Looney Tunes. I'm not that fucking old.
Brian, have you seen Space Jam?
I have seen Space Jam.
Okay.
Isn't there a new one
Not
coming
Star
out?
Wars, but I've
Yes.
seen Space Jam.
Sounds right.
I've seen Spaceballs. I enjoyed Spaceballs.
Without
Another
seeing
Another
Star
movie
Wars,
you don't
you
get the reference for.
enjoyed Spaceballs.
That's fine. I just laughed through it. That's okay.
I mean, it's fine. It is a fun. Now, is that the only Mel Brooks movie you've seen?
Blazing
Blazing
I
Saddles?
probably saw no. Oh boy,
History of the
I'm
World
sure you've
Part
seen
2.
you've seen
Never
Robin
saw
Hood
that.
Men in Tights, right?
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Wow,
Wasn't there a
that's
Frankenstein
possibly
movie?
his worst movie. So you
There's a Frankenstein movie.
Blazing Saddles, History of the World Part 1, Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein, not Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. That's a different
No,
movie.
not Mary Shelley's.
No, it's a different one. Yeah, I've seen both of the Frankenstein films.
Okay.
I saw Ready to Rumble. I don't know what the fuck's the problem.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure. I'm just trying to see where you're at.
I mean, who hasn't seen Ready to Rumble?
Right. I mean,
Cinematic
Right, we're talking classic.
Exactly. Everybody's. You gotta love Ready to Rumble.
Crown
See,
King.
And that movie is why the Butterfinger made my list, because that scene always cracks me up when he's like, "You crushed my Butterfinger, baby."
Butterfinger, get on the bus.
Can I have a Butterfinger too?
Oh, I don't know. The line that always fucking cracked me up was outside the convenience store when he's going back in to get the slush refilled, and he sticks his finger up his ass, and he just looks at him. He's Gordy, why does it look like you have your finger in your butt? Because I do. Like as if it's like a normal thing. But changing complete different direction. Let's pick up where we were talking about on Thursday night. We were talking about, of course, the situation with the WWE and Zelina Vega, and the desire to kind of change the employment culture of the WWE. Every wrestling fans, and obviously the tweet from Zelina about unionization. It's obviously a hot topic. It has been for a while. There seems to be a few instances a year where it kind of pops back up. And I did go and I listened to Mark Henry on Busted Open. And I think he hit the nail on the head pretty good there. I listened to the first 30 minutes of 83 Weeks, but sometimes when Bischoff talks, some of it kind of goes over my head. But and I think that was kind of the point. And he obviously brought up about how Andrew Yang has been very vocal about kind of coming for Vince McMahon in the WWE. And this was something that I kind of said on Twitter, and I didn't put it in nearly like the intellectual sense that Bischoff kind of outlined, though. But it is a slippery slope, because if you come after one, you're kind of coming after all of them. Like, everybody wants the WWE to change. And in instances, in situations, yes, there are absolutely things and ways that they need to change, but it's an entire industry. It's not just the WWE isn't the only one, so it's going to have an impact on AEW, on Ring of Honor, on Impact, and down to larger indies, smaller indies. Like, it's going to have a ripple effect through the entire industry, that I don't know that when people just throw the word union around, that they truly understand the potential ramifications of that.
Agreed. I think the one thing that Bischoff said in the podcast on 83 Weeks was not so much that he pretty much disagreed with the idea of a union, but he did agree that some concessions need to be made in the way of how we are actually defining the term independent contractor, which I completely agree with. Like, if you're labeling me an independent contractor, like most independent wrestlers are, they are free to work, or not even independent wrestlers, but if anybody claims to be an independent contractor, they're allowed to work when they want to work, not work when they don't want to work, and do anything in between that time that they so choose. It is very odd because WWE uses that to their advantage in the way of contracts, because as an independent contractor, you do not have to offer things like benefits or 401ks or pension or anything like that. But at the same time, they're holding court and keeping people from, or keeping their talent, which oddly enough, apparently it's only the main roster talent. There's a recent report that just came out that NXT talents are not held to the same esteem. So all NXT talents are still allowed to have their
third-party accounts.
Their third-party accounts, like Adam Cole. So
okay.
Adam Cole can still stream, but it's probably because main roster, they have their downside guarantee, and they made more money based on house shows and things like that. Where NXT,
things like
merchandising.
Correct. Where NXT, it's a flat, some of those guys are still on developmental deals or NXT exclusive deals, where they have the ability to go and work main roster, but their contract changes when they get called up. It's a completely different contract.
I hear what you're saying, Tim. And Scarlet Bordeaux OnlyFans.com going now.
Yes.
Well, because didn't one of the New Day guys on New Day Pod talk about when they were first called up that they were working on both like they had both deals, right? They had their NXT deal, but then for whatever they worked on the main roster, they got paid for that as well.
That
it was
was
like
Woods, because
Wood.
so when that was back when he was on an FCW deal. But like,
Okay.
so as an FCW talent, and it's still the same way with NXT, transportation is covered for the developmental guys. Whereas on the main roster is responsible for their flights, or no, not their flights, but they're responsible for their rentals and hotels.
Okay.
I think.
Sounds
Two of the three things between flight, hotel, and car is piled together. And the reason why I remember it is because Woods was talking about how he had the free car and he made nice with dudes on the main roster saying, "Hey, I got a car, just ride with me, save your money."
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on the dime, like it's on the dime, like
absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, you know, that is where, you know, that line is kind of blurred and gets a little tricky because yeah, I mean they are, you know, by all accounts they are contracted employees versus, you know, because they can't go and do, you know, Raw today and Impact tomorrow and, you know, AEW on Wednesday. So and I don't know, you know, I don't know the status. It's because this isn't just, it's not just a WWE thing. Because if we're talking about the industry and we're talking about people wanting to make a change to the industry, now, yes, it was the catalyst to this was the Zelina Vega WWE situation. But like, you know, when, and I know like AEW does like allow talent because like Moxley has worked Bloodsport. You know, obviously their talent still has other like revenue ventures, but and they've worked other indies, but I don't know, do they have to, and I don't know if you know this or anybody knows this, if Moxley wants to work, you know, an indie in, you know, Memphis, does he have to get AEW's like approval for that because John Moxley is all elite, or can he just go work that date? Like, is it do we know that?
I know he worked Bloodsport.
Yeah.
I think at bare minimum, I mean, and again, this is just a guess, but you would run it by before you would take that date.
I mean, I would imagine
have this opportunity.
A smart individual would,
right,
would kind of at least give them the heads up. But I didn't know if anybody knew if they had, quote unquote, had to.
Right.
I don't know that they have to, but those federations have always kind of given that flexibility, it seems like.
Sure.
Now, I don't know if AEW does, but I know Impact has certainly been loose with theirs, Ring of Honor for sure, New Japan. And I think like Cody would probably have that mindset. I can't say 100%, but he seems to be the type, like, if you have the opportunity to make your money, but within reason.
Right. Like, yeah, I just wasn't sure. Like, I didn't know what the, you know, because I mean, obviously when somebody signs with Impact, and I assume it's a similar situation with Impact as well, where you have to, you know, at least run it by them. Like, it's not that they have to, they're not allowed to. But I would imagine that, you know, for example, Gallows and Anderson, you know, if they were to want to go work, you know, and like I said, an indie show in Oklahoma, they would probably at least, hey, I'm going to do this sort of a thing. Like, you're not necessarily a, can I do this? More of a, you know, I want to get booked on this or what have you.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing too, is that like those type of high profile guys like Mox or anyone like that, they're not taking a date that isn't making money.
Well, that's true.
Like, an indie date is a quick and easy, like 3K, 5K. but the risk of going out there and possibly getting hurt could impact your TV time, your push,
See what you did
whatever
there.
you have down the line. Like,
Sure.
this is all rumor and innuendo and speculation, but like, Mox, say for example, everything was fine and the world was great and indies were running, and Mox took an indie date over Thanksgiving break. Okay, Mox wrestles. He's in Lebanon and he's working for CCW and Valor. Okay,
Right.
he gets hurt by anyone wrestling,
Or he just, or he
gets
comes off
hurt
the
in
top
the
rope,
match.
blows his leg out, you know.
Okay. So he's got a title defense on December 2nd.
Sure.
And I still believe he's the IWGP United States champion. And there is a thought process that he may be losing the title to Kenny Omega so that he can travel to Japan, quarantine,
he is still the champ.
and defend the title at Wrestle Kingdom.
Aha.
Smart.
So if he got hurt, he couldn't make money at AEW.
Couldn't make money in
And
Japan.
he couldn't make $1 million working for Inoki.
Yeah.
It's not Inoki.
And I mean, those names is kind of so like the tag team that AEW, those
Top
guys,
Flight or things
Top
like
Flight.
that.
Like I would imagine like they probably do have the ability to go work those shit, but I just didn't know if anybody knew like the policy of whether or not they have to get
I would assume it
quote unquote approval.
at bare minimum. There's like a morality clause that they'd have to play by, that like you can't go wrestle with something that would sully the name of yourself and then return back to our televised program.
I would also like to think that while they do leave it open for some wrestlers to go work indies, the wrestlers that do work indies are less likely to get play on Dynamite, and they are more relegated to dark.
Yeah.
Like Joey Janela.
Yeah, very true. Because he still does the GCW stuff.
He loves his indie stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't sure
Mr. Dark.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure what the if there was, if anybody was aware of like the actual policy. But yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it's and I do think that the WWE's the way that they conduct business is a bit is a bit aged, and it is something that they could certainly update and make more user friendly. Absolutely. I mean, and obviously we have seen since our last show, I don't think these were, maybe it had already been announced, but $30,000 for 30 Undertaker cameos through the WWE. And the first thought I had, and everybody, I saw a lot of people like were up in arms about it, because okay, so you won't let people have their platforms, but you're doing this. I'm like, yeah, because the WWE is getting their cut of it.
Or are they?
I would imagine.
Well, here's the thing. What if Undertaker had already bargained out meet and greet money in his WWE contract? And any money that he makes on live appearances outside, because he doesn't wrestle all the time.
That's true.
Like he's
he may certainly have a different deal.
And that kind of goes to like the conversation of Mark Henry, is like, you get what you negotiate for.
Sure.
Whether it's negotiated on the front end before you do something or negotiated after the fact, you get what you ask for. Or you at least you have the opportunity to get what you ask for. I just find it comical that like all of this could have been resolved if WWE had just let it slide. Like, I'm very curious as to who in Titan Towers or whatever building they're out of now, who's the guy with the abacus and the the ticker tape counting zeros to how much money WWE is losing on overhead or losing period for these deals with Twitch and Cameo and everything else. Like
Jack Tunney.
he's crooked anyways.
Rip.
Like
Um,
but it's just if they let the sleeping dog lie, one, the talent would still be happy.
right.
Two, the new presidential administration would be off your back. And three, you would avoid unionization talks. Like
Right.
those three things have happened since WWE put the kibosh on cameos and Twitch channels and YouTube channels. Like I
feel like union talks have happened before.
Jesse
This
Ventura
time
was
it's a catalyst because of this.
Yeah, Jesse was a huge proprietor or a huge proponent for it. I think to a certain degree, superstar Billy Graham was for unionization too.
I think
Like it's cyclical. Like it's every so often there's a group that speaks up about
Indie
the
wrestling
idea.
had a squeaky wheel.
I feel like they don't even.
Oh yeah,
necessarily
that guy. We
need-
don't talk about him anymore.
I feel like they don't necessarily
Maximum
even
stars.
need
Sure.
a union. They just need like some sort of uniformity. Like if Roman Reigns just went out the day after Zelina gets let go and creates an OnlyFans, is Vince getting rid of him? No.
He's freed the nipple.
Yeah, titties out.
And it, like if the bigger name stars I feel like ever made a stand like that, then I don't think the unionization talks would ever be needed. I mean, we talked about that before with Cena, and you know how he just kind of didn't step up when things like this would happen. So now Reigns as the big dog, and I understand why he does, and I'm not putting that on him. That's not his cross to carry.
Right.
But I mean, if they ever went that route, like there are a handful of names in WWE that could just probably put an easy stop to this by just throwing their hat in the ring.
Well, Styles shut his account down, right? His Twitch account.
But does Styles carry that name? Like, is Style, especially at this point, like if Vince cut Styles tomorrow, is that as big of a deal as if he cut Roman Reigns, or if
he's not as big as Roman, and I won't pretend that, but I think it's a big
Depends.
enough name. I think it's a big enough
I think
name
it's
that
bigger
you
than
don't want to
Zelina
lose.
Vega.
Well, sure, 100%.
It's a name you don't want to lose. I'll put it that way.
Okay, I mean that's fair, but it like I feel like a name like Reigns with the family ties, Orton with the family ties, Cena for where he is. I think that any of them, and even Cena just as a part timer, like if he did that, is Vince like, well, you're not welcome back anymore?
Right.
Probably not.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that like AJ owns he owns the name AJ Styles and he owns Styles Clash. But he's like worked out an agreement that while he's with WWE owns the licensing of it. Like
I think so, yeah.
Because it allows them to make merchandise of his. So basically, WWE pays him to use Phenomenal One, AJ Styles Clash,
yeah, all of that.
And they get to make profit off of that merch.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he still has the ability to do that stuff too.
Right. If and when he no longer works for the WWE, he can go wherever he wants and still be AJ Styles and still have the Styles Clash and still be the Phenomenal One and all of that.
Where does this term, and again, it feels like it's only ever brought up when we talk about the WWE, but the independent contractor term in professional wrestling, I feel like that ever only gets applied to the WWE.
Well, I think it's wrestlers in general, but it's because like independent wrestlers don't have contracts.
Sure, I get that.
So like, and for the last 10 plus years, for the most part, the only wrestling that's been in town has been, well, at least since 2001 when
That's fair.
WWE bought WCW and ECW. Like, the big game in town was WWE. Like, ROH was an indie. They weren't signing people exclusively until, like, what, 2 years ago? 3 years
Yeah,
ago?
just the last couple of years.
Impact was signing people, but, like, they weren't signing everyone.
And they've rebranded 17 times since 2000.
Easily 17 times. Because they've been TNA Wrestling, they've been Impact Wrestling, they've been NWA TNA.
They were
like,
GFW for a
They
while.
were GFW, yeah, like that shell umbrella corporation. But like it's just weird.
Hey, they made me a photographer for one night, so
I was gonna say we got a pretty big rub from GFW.
yeah, that was a night.
So did Fala Bala, I think.
Yeah.
The IRS website is quite vague to what defines an independent
Shocking.
contractor. What?
Huh.
Shocking. The IRS website is vague.
Right. It says you are an independent contractor, you are self-employed. And then it goes on to ask what like their tax burdens are. So it's all about the tax burdens. It says you are not an independent contractor if you perform services that can be controlled by an employer. What will be done and how it is done. This applies even if you are given freedom of action. So I don't understand how the WWE, and if maybe it's not the WWE, considering them independent contractors. I think that's the term that the WWE needs to distance themselves from, and either employ these employees and give them some sort of benefits. Again, I don't think wrestlers have great 401ks. I'm not sure.
Right. I mean, they're diversifying their own. They're on their own diversifying, but
sure they can, but like, come on.
Yeah.
How much money is like, man.
Because then if you start thinking about it, they also, as an employer, if these people were, if their contracted talent were on like solid payroll as like a regular employee, I believe the company would have to pay taxes in every state that an employee works in or lives in.
That's fair.
So in order to keep, I bet you something with the independent contractor type status, they avoid having to pay as a company. They avoid having to pay the state taxes or even the international taxes of their international talents. That way.
I'd be really interested to see what a company like Feld Entertainment, how they handle these situations. That's who used to run Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, again performing nationwide. They run like Disney on Ice, and like Monster Jam trucks or something like that as well.
Yeah,
but again, it's like a giant parent company that runs all these smaller things that tours nationwide. Like, were all of the clowns in Ringling Brothers, were they all independent contractors as well at that time as a performer? I assume they probably were, now that we're talking it out.
I mean, the easiest way we can figure this out is if, like, I don't even know how we can...
Mark, we need you to run off and join the circus. Report back.
No, not right now. There's no live shows right now. So once there's live shows.
If a WWE superstar would go on record as to say whether they got a 1099 or if they got a W-2. A W-2, your taxes come out. A 1099 is everything you make, and then you have to pay the taxes on that. That's the difference between an independent contractor or somebody who's like not necessarily fully on the payroll and someone who is an actual contracted employee.
And I also don't know if like, and this is just basic me being naive to the situation. Like, if when they sign a contract, if it's something similar to like, if I'm working on, a TV show on Fox for the length of time, say it's 4 episodes that I'm working on Fox, I can't go and work for a show on CBS while I'm working on that show on Fox.
Right.
Like if it's that sort, like, so I work for myself. I'm not contracted to an agency or whatever. Say I just represent myself, but I sign on to work for this show on Fox. I'm not, I'm not allowed to go work for CBS. Like that was a choice I made by signing on that dotted line. I don't know.
I could
Only
work.
if they put that in there. I
Yeah.
mean,
Right,
they
if it's
have
in
to
the-
put
if it's
that
in the
non-compete in.
And that I think was the point to what Mark Henry said on Busted Open is like, you kind of got to know what you sign up for, more or less. And I understand that like this current thing with the third party platforms, this is a new situation. This is something that came up,
It's
and quite
the most
frankly,
2020 thing in the history
right,
of all 2020.
If there's not a pandemic, I don't think WWE gives a shit that they're on those platforms, and I don't think it becomes a big deal with a lot of people whether or not the people are they're allowed to be on them or not.
Because because if everything were back to normal, they would be on the road 4 or 5 days a week and home
Right.
2 or 3. They wouldn't be streaming all the time. They wouldn't have the time to do it.
Right,
They
and they
would
wouldn't
be
need to do that
on the road.
to
So
get
like
that revenue stream and stuff like that.
the amount of time they would have to do cameos, or the amount of time they would have to live stream would be exponentially downgraded,
Right.
decreased.
Someone's got to film Ride Along.
Right. Like that's another thing too. Like maybe WWE is saying that like because of cameo, the boom of cameos and Twitches and YouTubes, that's time that WWE would have had to make other content like Ride Along or a new season of Swerved or whatever sort of other WWE network material that they had. Now, if WWE was smart, they would just take what's being done and ask if they can put it on the network.
Right.
And then pay that way. But again, it's
Do
not
we not think that WWE is going to create their own cameo, put it on the WWE shop, and you can get a personalized message for X amount of money?
I mean,
the
they're
star
already
gets a little
kind
bit,
of
the
just
WWE
did
gets
doing
their
that.
cut.
on Cameo.
And not even
Just for
a
the
cameo,
Undertaker, though, right?
They've had virtual meet and
Recently.
greets for a lot of their wrestlers past couple months.
Yeah, over the last couple of months, that's definitely been a thing that's popped up, is the virtual.
And
I didn't even
know
really
if
think
they-
like that was like a cameo, but that makes sense.
Yeah,
and I
but
don't even
it's
know if
act-
they had a
it's different.
contract with because they've partnered with like Wizard World for the past
Mhm.
6-7 years now to have appearances there, and whatever else. I mean, they have appearances scheduled all the time, so
There.
I mean they
Well-
have to be doing that still somehow.
And I saw they've been doing some with, what is it, the one wireless company that they're Cricket Wireless, and this was kind of my point back at the very beginning when like it was a Friday night before SmackDown when the world started blowing up that like superstars weren't going to be able to be on Twitch and stuff anymore. Is there had to be some sort of something that occurred. I know some people rumored that it was Lana promoting like an energy drink on her Instagram. There may have been a couple other things, but the thing I said from the beginning, and this is where I was like, I can see the talent's perspective of like, look, we're not on the road like we normally are. We're not making the money that we normally are. So we want to supplement our income, but where the WWE's going, we have a responsibility to our advertisers and our shareholders. And because like, here's the thing, like the going back to the Lana thing, and I have no clue if this is actually what sparked this change, but she's promoting an energy drink. WWE is sponsored by like Pepsi and Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew has their own line of energy drinks. There's a conflict of interest there. Probably not a huge deal, but that's the tip of the iceberg. If those sort of things keep happening, then eventually if it hits enough sponsors, if it hits WWE hard enough in the bottom line, that's where it becomes a problem. And I think that's where WWE, from a business side, right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm not saying that they're justified necessarily, but that's where the business side, and it's not always pretty, comes from.
But then, like, in the same scheme of things, would you not feel that the logical line of, I guess, not infringement, but like enforcement of like a conflict of interest be, instead of saying, hey, no one ever in the history of ever can do any third party deals, wouldn't it just make more sense to go, hey, don't do that again, and if you do it again, we're gonna fine you?
Yeah, they definitely went to an extreme.
It's kind of like a kid sneaking around playing video games, and it's like, instead of just taking the console away for like a week and then giving it back, it's
hits it with
taking the console and immediately throwing it in a trash fire.
Right.
And like, or no more TVs ever. And just throw away every TV in your house.
Right.
I'll tell you this much. If your older brother does that and you see it, your ass ain't playing video games when you're not supposed to, though.
Correct.
Lesson learned. Loud and clear.
Right,
So
but
fair
I
or
think
not, loud and clear.
WWE just wants their piece, and it kind of goes back to like when Jordan first signed his sneaker deal. Like Nike wasn't the NBA's sneaker brand, and he got fined every single game
Wasn't
where
it
he
Converse?
wore Air Jordans. Yeah, one of the two, and Nike just happily paid that fine. So NBA gets their money, Jordan gets his money, Nike gets their exposure. Everybody wins. Like they could have come to something like that with WWE.
And Nike made more money because
Right.
they then became the outlaw brand. Like, these are the shoes that the NBA won't allow. Like,
right.
So it's a bigger premium to go out and buy the Jordan 1s or the Jordan 2s.
And at the end of the day, the NBA was just like, well, we're finding them. What else do you want us to do to, Converse or whoever? And
Now,
WWE
Mark,
certainly could have done that.
Now, Mark, when Matt brought up Jordan, did you think he was talking about Jordan Grace there, or
I did get
her
a
new
bit
line of
excited.
sneakers?
Didn't you see the camera raise up a little bit?
I was just thumbing through the digital copy of Jordan Grace's 2021 calendar I have on my Christmas wish list.
Jesus. Yeah. So, and that's, it is a little confusing to me that WWE went to this extreme right away, because at some level, unless they are, like Ryan, I think you said it, planning on doing like their own Twitch channel or some sort of version of some sort of gaming platform of their own. They've been doing the virtual meet and greets, they've been doing the cameos. Like, unless WWE is just planning on taking everybody that was on Twitch and doing it under their own channel, like it seems odd that they just went from like 0 to 1,000 right away, because that is a little bit baffling, because and I get if their argument is that they're taking money out of the WWE's pocket. Like, why don't you find a way to make it work for you and let these people keep their platforms? So that is where it has been a little bit strange.
Doesn't the WWE have their own Twitch channel anyway?
Yes.
Why not just feature these stars on a rotation? They can promote it on their own their own little page. Hey, I'm going to be taking over the WWE Twitch page next Friday. Why wouldn't they have just done that?
What if I told you that WWE could do that and it's already built into Twitch? Twitch has the ability to host other channels on their page.
I would tell you that somebody at WWE doesn't know that.
Right. And it's the people who made the decision. And that's why everyone who's on the short end of the stick of it is like, but you could do this, and you could do this, and you could do this. And
the WWE has 70,000 Twitch followers. That seems like a really small number.
Okay, so let me put that into perspective. I'm trying to think of who all still has their.
I'm not a Twitcher, but 70,000 does not seem like a huge number for the WWE to have.
Okay.
Yeah,
So WWE had 70,000. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Claudio Castagnoli, aka Cesaro, had 37,000.
Wow. Okay.
So half.
Right.
Let's see. Adam Cole's Twitch channel
Baby.
has 50.9 thousand followers. WWE 70.7.
That's not a big difference between the two.
Let's look at AJ Styles. AJ Styles,
and I'm assuming
45.7.
I think the point Tim's making here is people are watching these channels because they're not on WWE. So if you put them on WWE, you're getting that extra exposure.
Yeah,
like,
and the thing is
follow that channel if
right.
If I want to watch Adam Cole and he's not on it, then I'm not going to watch it.
Right. And the thing about like Twitch too is like people stream when they want to stream, when they can stream, and there's a thing like there's a big part of like co-streaming where two people stream at the same time and they play the same thing and you can watch them at the same time. It's not like television where there's a set schedule and a rotation and things like that. Austin Creed.
Now, Paige still has her, correct?
So Austin Creed has 88.8 thousand followers.
Okay.
Paige has 160,000 followers. So over double WWE's footprint.
Right, and that's the baffling.
Because you take her account and you have her say, follow me, watch me, follow the WWE. I'm going to be there Thursday doing what I do. And that it's mind-blowing how they fumbled this.
Here's what probably happened. WWE probably told all of these people, hey, you have to play Battleground on your Twitch. And they were like,
nope, I'm out.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And here's the thing. So Paige could boot up her stream on her own channel. Like her own channel by herself. And all WWE has to do is a host command, and immediately Paige's stream is on the WWE's Twitch channel.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It is as easy as /host channel name, enter
they could
video.
Literally pay me to do that.
And the thing is that people who want to interact on Paige's chat can go to Paige's channel. But for people who only follow the WWE, if they go to the WWE Twitch page, somebody could be up streaming and they could just watch whoever's there. And then if somebody from that channel or somebody from that feed wants to go and support the person directly, they can give bits. They can subscribe to that person's channel. WWE can have subscribers on their channel.
Yeah, it's and kind of wrap up the thought here, and then we'll take our break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the Survivor Series. But like it's far more complicated, I think, than something as simple as like wrestlers good, WWE bad. Like, yes, the WWE is doing things that aren't great for their talent. They can obviously, they certainly can kind of update the way they conduct business and make it better. And I'm not even necessarily saying like they need to provide like health insurance. Would it help? Sure, absolutely. But like it's not something that like necessarily like has to be a thing, because I know like that was one thing with AEW, but like doing a little bit, and I'm talking like the most basic of research, that apparently the only people in AEW that have the health insurance are like actual people that have like office jobs with AEW, not like the wrestlers themselves. So like this notion that it's like WWE is just the only evil monster, again, isn't necessarily true as well. But like they could certainly update business practices and capitalize on things like these streaming services, stuff like that. They could do things smarter and better and update themselves to the 21st century. But like the thing I said from the beginning, and we can go around and wrap up our thoughts. This is a complicated situation, and I don't think that it's going to get. I don't think there's going to ever be like a true union. I really don't. Like, I mean, Andrew Yang can be as loud as he wants to be, and maybe it's the catalyst for change. I don't think there's going to be a union, but it to me it's a complicated situation, and I can see both sides have their own validity.
Andrew Yang, Jimmy Wang Yang, doesn't make a difference. I don't think there's going to be an actual union within the WWE at all. I really don't. To the Twitch point, real quick, make sure you follow my favorite follower. He is a pop culture nerd, a sports fan, and a game enthusiast. It's not the Tool Man, all one word. Make sure you give him a follow there on Twitch.
One part from the 83 Weeks podcast was actually something that was brought up by Conrad and not necessarily Eric. And
Connie.
That is, if WWE does have to go the way of paying out these actual contracts and make these people employees, at the end of the day, if it costs the WWE more money to have all of these people be full-time employees, then they're just going to fire the number of people that it takes to stay profitable.
Yep.
Which means less developmental deals. Say goodbye to NXT UK. Say goodbye to
good portion of NXT.
Possibly like very minimal. Like you thought that the cuts we just had for COVID were nonsensical. Wait till everybody's a full-time employee and WWE has to pay money overhead. Vince McMahon, and he has a responsibility to the shareholders of the WWE who pay to be invested in the company. And it is his responsibility, and it's the responsibility of any company that is publicly traded.
Yes.
That the first person you are responsible to is not yourself, it's not your employees, it is your shareholders. If you are not making your shareholders money, then you are not doing your job, and therefore there is cause for concern. And so whatever changes have to be made, as long as Vince is in the black and he's turning record numbers like he's turning right now in the pandemic, what by any means necessary, so long as the shareholders, the people who buy into the WWE at a financial level, those who have skin in the game, they stay. If you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. And it's the shareholders that'll be the ones that, if they are so perturbed by any of this, they speak up and make mention of it.
Like, I don't remember the exact date of the cuts, but I know that WWE stock bottomed out this year on like March 18th. It was down into the low 30s. Today it traded at closed at 41. So I mean, it's definitely lower than it's been in a while.
April 6th, 15th, 16th.
So a couple of weeks after the stock bottomed out at the start of the pandemic. Like, you know, like there's a reason that it's not pretty. It's not, to me, it's not like justified, but also like the WWE isn't the only company that did make cuts in March, April, May, June, July, August. I can keep going. Like it's crappy, but it unfortunately it's that's the business world. And like you said, it's their responsibility. Number one responsibility is to the shareholder. Once they went public, that changed everything. with the WWE. Matt and Mark, any closing thoughts before we take a break?
No, I mean it's we'll talk about it later, but it's just I feel like another missed opportunity for WWE, and there have been a lot of those lately, and it's unfortunate because I feel like the people that suffer are just their talent who just really loved what they were doing on Twitch. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw how broken up Paige was about that. So like not getting to share that part of her life with her fans, I'm sure was a big blow to her, and it sucks because a lot of fans clearly enjoyed watching her do that. So I hope that they can find some way to rectify this in the future. I think that, if you kind of make this rash decision immediately, you can always kind of backtrack it as opposed to like continuing to make cuts along the line. So that is the one saving grace they have in all of this, is they do have the ability to kind of take a step back, say, hey, we overreacted to this. Here's what we'll do moving forward. And I hope we see that.
Sure. Mark, anything?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm not real knowledgeable on the when it comes to unions and wrestling. I mean, I've heard about it for years, and it kind of sounds like WWE's almost wanted both ways and wants their cake and eat it too, and almost kind of overreaching. But this is uncharted territory with Twitch and, of course, the pandemic and all that. But I don't see it ending well, really, for WWE, especially if a union does happen. It's going to be ugly real fast. Um, but I don't see why the WWE wrestlers can't be on Twitch and try to make money on their own. Man, I can see both sides, but it's really kind of, I don't know. It'd be nice to have both sides come together and agree to something where both parties are satisfied. But it's this is going to be a tough, uncharted territory here for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely no expert in unions, but I know this: if you work for a company that has a union, I've heard you don't speak against the union. If you work for a company that doesn't have a union, you don't talk about unions. Like that's kind of like the extent of my knowledge. Like it's if you don't have it, don't talk about it. If you have it, don't talk against it. And that's because look at this situation that we're in and we've discussed here for 40 minutes or what have you. It just is what it is. All right, we're gonna pause here. We're gonna take our commercial break. On the other side, we're gonna talk about of course Survivor Series, which was last night at time of recording, and obviously the farewell to the Undertaker. So stick with us. 3 Count Thursday.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop. Welcome back, 3 Count Thursday. I have such a hard time not saying 3 Count Thursday live. I'm gonna put it to you real. When I'm not used to recording, this isn't a normal thing for us. But 3 Count Thursday, of course. Happy Thanksgiving. As you're listening to this, it is Thanksgiving night. Actually, you know what? And this is just I'm putting it out to you guys as we're recording. I'm going to put this on the Patreon tonight for our Patreon supporters, and I'm going to tweet it out. If you're a Patreon supporter, you can hear this week's episode tonight. Down.
Yeah, you're
Is
a
that
little.
better?
Yeah, you were a little. You were a little soft there at the end. I could hear you, but
well, that happens. I usually have to apologize for that to not only to you guys, to my wife as well.
you know,
Um,
they make medicine.
Oh my!
I think I'm going
hate to
to.
hear it.
I think I'm gonna post this to the Patreon tonight,
The
and I'm gonna put it out there that hey, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you can get this week's episode early. How about that?
I can dig it.
But happy Thanksgiving as you're listening to this. And obviously this past Sunday, last night as we're recording, was a Survivor Series. And
A+.
Also, I looked over as we were in the break. It looked like we had a fiery Nikki Cross promo. So I know Ryan, Tim, you guys were speaking very highly on the Nikki Cross promos last week, so you might want to check that one out after we are done recording. So yeah, we'll go through I'll kind of run down the results if there's any match in particular that you want to talk about. We can do that. We'll obviously touch on the farewell to the Undertaker, but the pre-show was the dual brand battle royal, the Miz winning by last eliminating Dominic Mysterio. The show opened with the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw, defeated Team SmackDown by a clean sweep. AJ Styles, Braun Strowman, Keith Lee, Riddle, and Sheamus defeated Team SmackDown. I believe it was Jey Uso was the final elimination. Did you guys dislike, care that it was a clean sweep? I thought, the purpose behind it was Jay letting down Roman.
Yeah, it I'm not a fan of clean sweeps at all. But if you look at the teams, Team SmackDown had so much dysfunction and Team Raw had little to none. So
I enjoyed it. I feel like, and I said this in the chat last night, if Jay had just gone on a run, it would have annoyed the ever-living shit out of me. So the way they ended it was fine for me. And now, if you'll excuse me, Alexa Bliss is coming out. So
yeah, I was gonna say. Now I would assume that she, has her new theme, which I absolutely love. All right, so she is keeping with the same look that she has in the Funhouse, so that's pretty that's solid. Street Profits.
Everybody's phone just.
that's me. Why is my phone not on silent anymore? I didn't hit it.
There it is. There it is. What was the Seth Rollins deal? I just didn't get quite sacrificing himself. I don't. Is it just playing into the whole Messiah thing?
I feel like it's his way to be written off.
Yes, I think he's being.
I get that, but if I'm not thinking like a smart, why would you just sacrifice yourself?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't necessarily get it.
I don't think there's any other reason for it other than that. There's no logical explanation for sure.
Right.
I mean, he also just could have took a bad bump and went out. I don't know. It just seems weird.
Or you could have had him not been in the match.
Or that.
That's also possible.
Well, that was the thing too. It's okay, so he lost to Murphy. Why didn't he just get hurt in the match against Murphy last Friday night? And that's how Murphy finally gets the win, but just continues to snap and just destroys Rollins. Because let's be honest, when Rollins comes back, he's probably going to be a face at return.
You're towing a line here. You're very close to
Getting
criticizing
shitting on
something that
WWE.
WWE did.
Watch
so
out, Mr. C.
Look-
Mr.
Look out,
C.
man. I know. I'm trying to tread as
as a
softly as I
friend, I'm
can.
just putting that out there. You would
Careful.
Back it down.
But yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be a face when he comes back because he's a big enough name that it's. I think like when Triple H blew his quad out, he was a heel, and by the time he came back, I get that was a real injury, but by the time he came back, people were happy to see him. When Seth Rollins comes back, he's going to be, the man's baby daddy. So like people are going to like cheer when he returns, like unless you bring him back in a way that he's a heel on camera. So I just, you have him pick up a little bit of sympathy because like I think if Murphy snaps, he can still be a good guy in that role, but just it's the blow off of emotion from everything Seth's put them through. I think I don't understand necessarily why he was in there.
We're gonna have to cycle back anyway with this, Jim. So, what did you grade this match?
This match, I gave.
I want to just get a base feeling of how this night's gonna go.
B-.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. All right, then we go to the Street Profits defeating the New Day in the Champions vs. Champions tag team match. I'll just give my grades as we go through, and then we'll get the final grade at the end. This match I gave an A. I thought it was a really good tag team match. I thoroughly enjoyed this one.
I was up really, really early and took a nap during this one. I happened to have dozed off on the couch.
This is match of the night.
Oh
yeah, 100% match of the night.
This is match of the night. There's nothing better than this match on the card. Period.
No, zero.
Nothing.
Yeah, this is one you want to go
I would
back
agree.
to.
Yeah,
This is one you want to
Check it
go
out,
back
Smokey.
to.
I mean, and it's not a critique. Like you were tired, you fell asleep. It is what it is. But go back.
It really
and watch
was. I was
it.
just
Like,
sitting there and I just dozed off.
knowing you, Ryan, you will enjoy this match. Well, maybe not. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you will. Like,
Yeah,
you can
I
tell
saw
that
tweets that are saying like WWE finally did tag team wrestling right.
Yeah,
I
Very
mean,
much so.
Yeah.
Cash
Yep.
Wheeler from FTR thanked the New Day and the Street Profits for what I don't know.
Risky business.
Ooh.
Oh my god, I love Alexa Bliss. Like I'm like watching the mat and like she's just so fucking good. Okay. Bobby Lashley. Let me hit it. Defeated Sami Zayn in the US champion versus Intercontinental champion. This one I gave a C+. This match just felt like it was kind of there.
Wow.
it wasn't. It wasn't even quick, Jim. You can't even justify the C+.
Well, the plus it was an okay match. It was an average match. I gave it the plus because
What about the match was okay?
I mean, I don't think it was just okay. Like it wasn't a bad match.
It was a bad match.
I don't think it was a bad match. Personally, I thought it was average. So it was C, and then the Hurt Business won. So that's why
I mean, on the Jim curve, a C is an F to everyone else. So that's
really.
I also don't think that the match was that. I think it was the worst match of the night.
It was my worst graded match of the night.
Oh, well,
At a C?
Now we know where that is going.
Did you watch the same pay-per-view we did?
I don't know what do you guys want out of this match. Sammy's a chicken shit heel, and Bob's a big bruiser. I don't know what you guys would have wanted out of this match.
It's fine. The match went on too long. There was no actual wrestling. It was all just storytelling.
It was 7 minutes and 50 seconds.
How long?
7:50.
Okay, way too long.
Now, I do kind of wish it was more of a squash match. That's what I kind of thought it was going to be. Like, I thought Sammy was just going to get squashed, but I have a hard time. Like, I don't think 7:50 is a long match.
It could have been 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And still,
I don't think you get to have Sammy do his Sammy shit.
Do we need to?
If it's that short.
Do we need
You
that?
do though.
That you're not a Sami Zayn fan, that's fine.
I like Sami Zayn,
You
and I
could've-
enjoy him in that role, but it's over the top with Bobby Lashley. That's my critique.
Sammy could have avoided contact with Bobby once, gets stopped by Shelton, gets hit by Bobby, goes to avoid, gets stopped by Cedric, gets hit again. He realizes he's gone too far, does the backpedal shtick, trips over MVP, tries to flop and get the call, doesn't get the call. They wheel him in. MVP puts him in the hurt lock, and you go home.
All that can be done in under 5 minutes.
Easy.
Right. And I wish it would have been a shorter match.
And the
I don't
match
think it was a bad
match I just laid out is a C. And that's not what we got.
Again, Jim Kerr. If Matt's gonna say it, I might as well just steal.
I did give you the out on that. Yeah, that's fair.
All right, then we had Sasha Banks defeating Asuka in the women's champion versus champion match. This one I gave an A-. I'm trying to think why I said A- on this one. I felt like there was a reason. I should start writing these things down. I feel like my ability to remember things 24 hours after the fact.
What like you gave the first Survivor Series a B-, and I was a little curious as to what would have elevated that one for you. But I
just didn't think it was that great. Like,
no, that's fair. It wasn't.
Yeah, it just felt there. And like, I mean, I didn't hate the sweep, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't feel.
But at the same time, now that I'm thinking about it, you gave that a B- and you gave the Bob Zane a C+.
The plus was more because the Hurt Business won.
So like in grading, the original Survivor Series was an 80%, and the Bob Lashley Sammy was a 79%. There's only a 1% difference between.
Oh, well, see, no. See, I'll explain. I'll lay out the numbers later.
Now I need you to start giving numbers when
okay. So like, if something's a flat grade, it's like a B is an 85, a plus is like an 87, and because it's on the lower tier of the plus, because like a plus can go like 97 through what, and then a minus would be like a B- would be an 80.
Okay.
So it's negative 5 points for a minus, but only +2 for a plus?
Tim. Look, you got to understand, this grading system
is flawed.
I'm not denying that it's flawed. I will say this, it was created during the pandemic.
Which means you've had all this time to tool it. To be
I'm not
perfect.
saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is that Jim mentally in quarantine time is not nearly as sharp or as good or as like battle tested and all of that as he is normally. So once things get back to normal in like 2027, I will refine this and I will make this system better. And I promise it will make a lot more sense. However, in these trying times, I'm not going to make sense on some things, okay?
All right, so Sasha Asuka was a 90% for Jim.
Matches will be graded better for weird reasons. WWE, basically, like football and wrestling, especially on a pay-per-view weekend, it gets me through 2 days where I can kind of mostly forget about things. So automatically I'm going to look at them better than I normally would. Because like normal life, Jim, would probably give this a little bit worse grade than quarantine Jim.
So
I'll say that.
What we need is for you to now that we know this, you're no longer allowed to watch the pay-per-views in their entirety on the day they're released.
Look,
Survivor Series is 7 matches, so you have a match a day to spread out the serotonin throughout your day so that you're not peaking on Sunday and then you're crashing on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday was a big day for Jim.
It is a big
Cowboys.
day.
The Cowboys won.
No, I'm mad about that. I'm pissed about they're blowing it. They had a number 3 overall pick, and now they're half a game out of first. They're idiots. They are stupid. They are fucking morons.
Reaching to the bottom, Jim.
Them boys.
Like, and I'm going to talk about this on Huddle Up tomorrow. There's a case the Cowboys are gonna, whether or not they win the division, they're gonna go through the last part of their schedule, which is the easiest part of their schedule, and they're gonna screw this up even harder than I thought they could, and I'm not gonna be happy about it. But no, I did enjoy this match. Like I said, I got to start writing some little bullet points as to why things didn't necessarily get a certain grade, but I gave this one an A-. Any other thoughts on this match?
I don't know. For some reason, it didn't connect. Maybe it's because, like, I thought, again, not much going on. I'd like to see champion matches matter. I don't know why this one bothered me more than any of the other ones on the night. It was a good match. I just wish it was for something, I guess.
I have Sasha fatigue, so I'm always going to grade lower just because it's Sasha. No offense. It's just, she does not do anything for me. Now, I will say, I think this is one of the better Sasha matches of 2020. I think Asuka is one of the rare people that can get a really great match out of Sasha Banks. This one is it. Left more meat on the bone because it was a wrestling move that won. It wasn't a finisher. Sasha skirted by.
I think I expected more out of the match. Like, the match wasn't as great as maybe I set it up in my mind. I did love the finish, though.
Yeah, finish was good to me. Sasha winning, I will always accept. I know Mark has my back in this. As the two Sasha representatives of 3 Count Thursday, I know Mark and I are going to die on this hill, and that's fine. She's hanging on my wall for a reason. And I thought that they needed to give her this win more so than Asuka, so they did the right thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Still don't think it was that good of a match. I thought a lot more could have been done in the ring. We've seen a lot more out of both of them in the ring. So it was probably a flat B for me. And that's only because of the finish. I mean, wrestling-wise, this was kind of maybe like a 78% match.
I would say I've been more a Sasha fan in this current run than I have of most.
It's been her best work in probably a solid 2 years.
And maybe it's those like bandana pantsuit she's been wearing too.
I don't know if it's that or if it's just like the storyline in general. Like the whole thing with Bailey for so long.
I love the Bailey.
I know, but it was just so tedious. It was too much.
Mark,
and we got it for a year.
I think it's truly Sasha's hair, the blue hair. I like that. No, I thought it was a really good match. I was, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Let me think. I thought it was pretty good. I was happy with the outcome. It was very good. I guess I wish there was a little more at stake. I mean, it's champion versus champion, I mean, but overall, yeah, I was satisfied with the match. I give it a solid B plus.
I don't get why, it was champion versus champion all night, and there were no stakes for any of them. So why was this the match that just really?
Yeah, I don't get this whole obsession. Like, now, granted, we talked about this last week. Like, I think they could have had stipulations on like the overall win-loss record of brands. The winning brand gets this, the losing brand gets that. But like, there's matches all the time that have no stakes on them, and like nobody cares. Like, competitors compete for the brand that pays them. Like,
if that's an important thing, then I want you to put a little tally in the corner of my screen to let me know how important that is and show me the win-loss total the entire night.
But they weren't even doing that this year. Last year they did that.
Correct. So that's not a big thing then this year.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what everybody's obsession with steaks on the show was. Like,
I don't know. It bothered me in this match because the previous match was like the big bruiser and the chicken shit heel. The main event was just a bruising, hard-hitting main event that I really, really enjoyed. And this match was just a solid match. I mean, it's faulted because it's just a solid wrestling match. That's all, I guess. It gave me nothing more than that.
Sure.
It should be a big thing when like the champion from this guy faces the champion for this guy one night only. There should be something important about it. This just felt like a wrestling match.
Yeah, I don't know why this did feel differently for me too versus, or say the Street Profits and New Day, both being tag champions. For some reason, that didn't bother me.
At the end, that didn't bother you. Well, I mean, you slept through it, so I can't hold that.
That's fair. Yeah, Ryan slept through that one.
Like, I guess it's the difference between like if you wanted, you want to know how they could have avoided any of this. If they would call Survivor Series like if they compare it to the All-Star game. Okay. Everyone who's a sports fan,
you would still watch. Shut the fuck up.
Everyone who's a sports fan understands.
You watch any other All-Star game? You watch the NFL All-Star game, Jim?
I don't, but wrestling is different though.
I watch every All-Star game but the NFL.
The Pro Bowl sucks.
All-Star game.
All-Star game sucks. You watch the baseball All-Star, watch the home run derby. That's fun.
Right, I like the skill stuff.
And then I watch the All-Star game. I don't like pay attention. I'm not on the edge of my seat.
But it's interesting.
But I still watch it because the winner gets home field advantage for the World Series.
Not anymore.
You know how they would. I know you would watch it is because
something involved in it.
You still watch Fastlane. You still watch Great Balls of Fire. You still watch Roadblock. Sorry, Tim.
It's okay. I got it in.
Like you're gonna watch the pay-per-view. You will. Like even
I have not watched a ton of wrestling these past 2 months.
But you've watched.
Don't watch every tempt me, Jim. Don't tempt me.
You've watched pay-per-views though.
I can skip a pay-per-view pretty goddamn easily.
This is the first time I've watched Raw in months. Is because I'm doing this podcast at the same time. But I've watched every single pay-per-view.
Hold on.
Yes, Tim.
Did you skip this one, Ryan?
No, the tagline really brought me in.
And what was that? What was the tagline?
This one had a tagline?
Two of a kind working on a full house or something like that.
You'll never see it coming.
Best versus the best. Or best against the best.
That's what it was.
All right, then we had the women's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw defeating Team SmackDown with Lana being your sole survivor.
I didn't go through a table.
She did not. And see, that's why I actually dropped this from like an A- to a B+, because Nia didn't go through a table. No, I thought this was the better of the two Survivor Series matches. I thought, that most people got their stuff in. I thought Bianca looked great. Just kind of got caught with Nia on the outside, so she didn't have to eat a fall. And ultimately, the thing I've been saying for weeks, I think it was since about week 4 of the 9-week Lana through a table saga, that this was going to lead to Lana being the sole survivor, and I was right. So I was kind of happy with myself.
Let me just say before we go in, Jim left that Nia didn't eat a fall right there for the taking, and neither of you guys jumped on it.
Tim,
I'm too fat to touch that.
I also wouldn't touch that. I don't make fat jokes.
Oh, okay.
Ryan, you've really changed your ways. You're a good person.
Ryan, you left a lot of meat on the bone here tonight.
We're all proud of you.
Well, you stuff from Thanksgiving dinner.
But I love the ending. I it from the moment they put Lana on that top step, I'm like, I see how I didn't know exactly how we were getting there, but it confirmed the thing I had predicted for a while, and I like the way that we got there. I loved it.
I guess you could say Lana's getting a bigger push in WWE than her husband is in AEW.
She certainly
Say that.
Isn't that a shame?
At least she's featured on TV every week.
That's true too.
Yeah. I thought every woman had a moment in this match to look strong, other than Lana, which is fine.
Natty?
Natty shouldn't have been in the match. Period. That spot should have been for Billy Kay. Period. But
Jim.
Natty's the winningest woman in the WWE, and
Thank you. We've seen it 18
she's
times.
so great. And
I haven't gotten
everything about her.
the
So,
soundbite yet.
Natty's a thing still.
Yeah.
Poor Natty.
You don't poor Natty. She's earned it all.
I'd just be happy if she got some new wrestling attire.
The thing
She did have new gear.
Yeah, it was
And
new
it
this
was-
time. It was blue.
This was
was-
new gear.
Awful.
Oh well.
Fucking awful. That being said, like how long ago was it that Nia was in the bullying storyline? Like, I still remember. Ryan still remembers it, so it wasn't that long ago. 'Cause Ryan's memory is shit, and you remember that storyline.
I didn't know she stopped being a bully. I don't. When did she stop?
When she was
She had knee
being
surgery.
bullied.
She was being bullied for months. That was
Yeah, bullies become bullies. That's not a surprise. This is the longest storyline WWE's ever told.
Right.
A+.
So that was when she was being bullied. That was WrestleMania. The build up to WrestleMania 34.
Her and
7
Alexa,
years ago.
right?
What now?
Was it her and Alexa, right? Like
Yes.
Alexa got caught like making fun of her in the back. and-
Yes.
We had the whole Be a Star movement again, and
She
now
was out for like a year with their blown out knees, right?
Speaking of being a star, would you rather be Nia Jax's knees or Joe Burrow's knees right about now?
I'd rather be Kevin Nash's knees than both of them.
Oh my!
I did not fully see the Burrow hit, like the slow mo.
Wasn't great.
I'm trying to find it.
Wasn't good at all, and the diagnosis is even worse than the video.
Yeah. I
See,
figured
like he tore every single ligament in that knee.
You know, I
Yeah.
don't claim him
this
anymore,
is
but
Joe Burrow's knee yesterday.
just big
Just,
explosion.
it blew up. It exploded.
You know, they're
Because it
not
was
they're not my
ACL,
team
MCL.
anymore. They're not my team anymore, but they are the football team.
They are the football team.
Only
That is correct.
team out there playing football every week.
It's at least in the NFC East. That's true.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Good Lord.
I mean, to get back on track, this match I thought was okay. I hate to be this guy, but Natty really just took so much away from it for me. Like, I would have liked it a whole lot more if she wasn't in it. And that's not just me saying that to like rub big.
I understand where he is because that is Sasha Banks.
I
to me.
don't get what they're doing with Natty right now.
It made zero
dumb.
sense to me.
She's the
throughout whole
boat,
thing.
guys.
It's dumb.
The boat's taking on water.
It's
Well, when you get to be of a certain age, you start retaining water.
Yeah, dude, the problem is she's like a pontoon boat. Not even a boat people want to be around. It's a
Jesus,
fucking
Ryan.
pontoon.
She's a pontoon.
She's more like a yacht. She's just
Matt,
so
you're a
big
bad
you can't get rid
influence
of
on
her.
Ryan.
Apparently. Well, I mean, that's just what dragged the whole, like, when she was like trying to talk shit, and it was like
So bad.
it was just brutal. Because the whole time I'm thinking, like, Natty, you're like 39.
And like the yelling every time she does a move, like just it's bad. I love Natty.
She's great
But
in the
it's-
ring. Like she's fantastic in the ring.
She is. I used to put her in my top 5, like just in ring ability. I don't know if she's still up there, but she's still very good.
She
but
has
just
to be if she's still getting these spots. Like
everything else,
there's
about
somebody
her
who's got to be there to keep it all together, and but like I've never bought into like Natty's talk game. It's
No,
not
it's
awful.
It's
It's
not
awful.
apparent.
Natty is a better painter than she is on the mic.
She is a charisma vacuum.
But she's great on social media.
Which I know, but it does not it does not
she's not her
cross over into
sister.
the ring. Jesus.
Oh, her sister's great.
Yeah.
She's great on social media. She's great anywhere.
Jesus, Mark. But yeah.
Well, if Natty could really benefit if there was a female manager, or even a male manager for her. But since WWE doesn't have managers, well, like a Paul Heyman, but somebody to be Natty's mouthpiece because she's excellent in the ring.
That's what I honestly thought that's what they were doing with the Lana and Natty pairing. Like I thought they were getting away from Lana being in the ring and they were having her be kind of the mouthpiece for the two of them. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And then like 2 weeks later, they're like, nope, we're going to split them up. Natty's going to go to SmackDown. Lana's going to go to Raw. And
if they want a mouthpiece, just call up Robert Stone.
Yeah, that would be great too.
Yep. He's great.
And he can be what Lana was supposed to do. Repackage, re-envision. Like WCW did this at the very end of WCW with Lex Luger. And like late 99, early 2000s, Lex Luger stopped being called Lex Luger and he just went by the total package. And the only thing that changed, besides his amount of steroids he was using allegedly, was like he got a new theme, new gear. He had a new entrance attire. He was brought to the ring by Miss Elizabeth. He had a newfound attitude. But he's still Lex Luger.
Right.
You could do the same thing.
You could. Yeah. I will. All jokes aside, I have no clue what they're doing with Natty. Then of course we had the main event, champion versus champion, Roman Reigns defeating Drew McIntyre by technical submission. This match for me got an A. I loved it. I mean, I do think that the tag team match was the best match of the night. But I thoroughly enjoyed this main event. The way they booked it. Like I say it all the time. I'm like a broken record. This Roman Reigns is just so fucking good. I love everything they're doing.
I haven't do
the tag
agree
match?
with that again. I
gave that one an A as well.
No, sorry, Ryan. I apologize.
No, that's fine. I didn't see the tag match, but this was like my match of the night. I will go back and watch the tag match and make an edit if I need to. I thought this was real hard hitting. Again, I thought this was two like big boys just doing big boy things. I loved the inclusion of Jay at the end, and then kind of the storyline again of the tribal chief pulling in little bro, making sure everybody's taken care of.
Matt, you gotta get over it. They don't play hard in the paint anymore. You just gotta come to terms with it, man. I know it's hard.
Clearly they don't, because he was winded after a super kick. He was up at the top of the ramp panting.
I think he was emotional. I think it was emotional.
Oh, is that what that was? He's caught up, wheezing.
Have you
for
ever super
air.
kicked anybody in your family, or in like
I
support of
would
your family, Matt?
gladly super kick a lot of members of my family. I probably wouldn't be wheezing with emotion afterwards.
Matt, maybe he has asthma. You don't know.
I don't. That's fair.
Any other thoughts?
All those years of going hard in the paint finally got him.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Maybe it was lead paint, and now he has bad lungs. You don't know.
You don't know.
I do want to give credit to Drew for that sick counter of the spear into the Kimura. That was It was nasty.
That was.
I give this, whatever grade Jim gives it, I give it a grade and a half less for the simple fact that they beat over my head the phrase Scottish Warrior. Oh, that's a thing now? Great.
Well, yeah,
Scottish Warrior. He's Scottish Warrior. No, this is dumb.
Shut your ass.
Yeah, like stop trying to make Scottish Warrior a thing. We have a Celtic Warrior. Stop.
I thought he broke that sword when he drove it at the beginning.
I would have loved if he broke Vince's sword.
No, it was from his grandfather.
Vince.
Come on.
Yes. There's a reason why Drew was the chosen one.
I actually kind of enjoyed the match. Jey Uso wheezing at the end aside, I guess it's better than him crying at the end, because
I thought Jimmy was the one that cried.
They all cry. They're taking after the Big Show. Everyone's crying and wheezing. It was a solid match though. I did enjoy it. I wasn't like, I thought that we were gonna get the overkill with the spears and everything, and they did, but it was still generally a good match. And I didn't even really notice the Scottish Warrior thing until Tim pointed it out, and then that's all I heard for the rest of the match.
Right, it was like that episode of How I Met Your Mother when they like
right.
noticed things about
the
each
glass shattered.
Renee Young's lisp. Never heard it until Ryan pointed it out to me.
Everything Finn Balor does is a drop kick.
Yeah, thanks. You had already
John Cena's big ass hand.
Huge fucking hand in the beginning of those intros for all those years. Yeah, out of this world.
Vince McMahon saying, "What a maneuver."
Yeah, you know. Okay, so for the match, for the show itself, like, and then I go off of the scorecard.
Oh, we're not done with the show yet.
Yeah, well, show's not over.
I didn't even include that into my grades. That was separate. That was no, I didn't. I didn't though.
You have to.
All right, well then I'll grade it after we talk about it because I didn't give it a grade before. All right,
before we even talk about it, what's the grade?
The grade as presented just now.
No. Just of the main event, the Undertaker Final Farewell. What is the grade of that?
Probably like a B.
That's high.
That's
like,
very high.
That is high.
Super high.
And I'm a Taker.
That is Matt Riddle high.
That's Randy Orton 3 years ago.
It might be Randy Orton 3 years ago high, but nothing is Matt Riddle high.
Okay, you're acting like Matt Riddle's Jeff Hardy high, and that's very different.
Whoa.
Oh, don't fucking woe me on that.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about the Undertaker.
Let's talk about it.
So they bring out all the legends.
Just everyone. No.
One at a time.
Not even legends, just anyone within like a 10-mile radius, apparently. Because why the fuck was Godfather there?
The BSK.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
No, legit.
No, that's why.
It's Undertaker's,
it's Undertaker's backstage
Vega's group. Yeah.
I get that, but
so then you don't have
Godwins were more of a stretch to me.
They're a part of the BSK too.
Midian.
Oh, are they? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Midian was part of them.
Yeah. The Godwins, Savio, the Samoans are all
so
BSK.
That makes sense. I just thought like
it was overkill.
Why'd they disappear? No, I don't think it's overkill.
It was
the ghost of Yokozuna.
Yakazuma.
I just thought it was weird that like they brought them all out into the ring and then they went to the video and they came back and they disappeared.
Kane was in full regalia.
Loved it.
Nobody else.
I'm fine with him being in full gimmick because I don't need Mayor Glenn Jacobs being in my Undertaker retirement segment.
That had to have been a rib, though, right?
He looked confused, and so did everyone else. Like everyone when
If
Kane
it
came out,
makes sense for
looked
anyone to be in
confused.
gimmick, though, it's Kane.
Or the
It
one
really-
dude that's in active competition, Jeff Hardy.
Well, Kane's never officially retired, has he?
Why was Jeff Hardy even in the ring?
Because
Another good question.
Jeff and Undertaker share that moment from Raw
Because
in
he got high.
2002 with the ladder match.
Yep, that was a good match. I remember that.
It's a stretch.
Yeah, it is a stretch.
But it's not
They could've
because
brought
Jeff was
the-
chosen to be one of the people to represent the Undertaker in the photo shoot. They've
But why
both
not-
spoken well of each other in the past.
Why not
Like-
Edge then?
Edge is hurt. He's off camera. They don't want to bring him out.
Oh, because everyone else in that ring was a pinnacle of physical.
They're not physically
well-being.
on the roster.
The Big
They're
Show.
not active competitors, though.
Right. If you bring Edge out and he's looks healthy, they're gonna be like, "Well, where's Edge at?
Yeah,
I don't
Why
know.
wasn't he here at Survivor Series?"
Tim, for someone who said a B was high grade, you're defending the shit out of everything. So
I know,
I
don't
am
even have to do the
defending the
work.
guest list only. I am defending the guest list, but there's no reason
You
that
can't defend the guest list with the omissions of Brother Love and the $1 Million Man, who played equally crucial parts in The Undertaker, as did Jeff Hardy, who just painted
I
his
get
fucking face and was like, "Hey, can I go out?"
I get that.
and Brock.
Brother Love
The
should have been
bigger-
out.
Yeah,
The
Brock.
bigger problem is that you trotted them all out and there was no interaction of them saying goodbye to the Undertaker.
Zero.
It was a parade of stars and then cut to a pre-tape deal with the Undertaker.
And
Were
you
you
know
pissed
who was
that-
in? You know who was in that pre-taped thing? Edge.
No, not that.
Bring him out.
I'm talking about Undertaker's entrance. That wasn't live. There's no
They
way
had
that was
it.
live.
It was probably edited down from 22 minutes for TV time.
The Tesla coil thing they did without anybody out there.
Literally the coolest thing of everything.
That
the Tesla
was
coil was the coolest thing. That's
totally
it.
missed me. When
You
have they done the Tesla coils before?
Never.
Fucking waste of time.
Never.
You not under, but
Dumb. Don't need
Tesla
it.
coils are badass, dude. Tesla coils are fucking awesome.
Stupid.
Let me just say that them playing the Undertaker's theme, and it was clearly two people, one of them playing on a recorder and the other playing on a harmonica / kazoo. I could have done without that because that was brutal to my ears.
You mean
I'm
off the
always-
Tesla coils?
Yeah.
Tesla
Second
coils
did.
are fucking badass.
No.
They
Yes,
are.
they were so dope.
No.
I didn't even realize. I thought it was just a fucked up like audio track at first. I didn't know what. I literally took me a couple seconds.
Right.
Stupid.
If
Waste
you've
of fucking
never
time.
if you've never seen people play music on Tesla coil,
I don't need to see it because they're not fucking music instruments. It's stupid.
But it's lightning.
I'd rather had a fucking harmonica and a kazoo. Those are at least legit instruments.
How about a banjo?
Fine, bring it out.
I don't know why the parade of stars disappeared. Like, if you want to have Taker in the ring by himself, that's fine.
Well, apparently they
Keep
just
on
did
the
it because
outside.
it was pre-recorded.
Was Taker's his
it
like
had to
promo?
have been.
Yeah, Jim Taker doesn't stay up that long. He's too fucking old.
And the other guys aren't.
That's fair.
I mean, I will say, like, there was definitely part of me that thought there was something that was going to happen. I don't hate that it didn't. Yes, and I'm sure you guys will touch on it more. Missed opportunity, sure, but like, if to me, I guess the question would come down to, is that how he wanted it to go?
And 3 days ago, you were and Tim's nodding that this was a missed opportunity. So I'm letting him off the hook here. But you were banging the drum that Taker loves the business and wants to go out on his back, and he did none of those things.
No, because you had asked the question on Thursday, would Vince have like the Fiend do something to Taker in that spot?
And clearly he didn't.
But my response to where I was like, guys go out on their back, was an answer to your question. I wasn't necessarily saying that it had to happen.
It should have happened.
So what I hear you saying, Jim, is there are two legends that have no respect for the business and wouldn't go out on their back: Undertaker and Bret Hart.
Ding ding.
Well, I mean, Bret Hart went out on his back because Goldberg, fucking hurt him. So
last thing I saw is Bret
can't get up.
Bret got a dub at WrestleMania. He was United States champion. He was a part of a 7-on-7 against the Nexus. I didn't see him go out on his back.
I was just talking about the screw job.
Well, he did in WCW. It's a similar defense to like whether or not I needed more Undertaker matches, post streak being over, whatever. He's if he wants to, he can go as long as he wants. If this is how he wanted to end it, then this is how he ends it. Like, and for me, it's he's one of those like rare few, I think, that gets to kind of make that call.
I don't think Taker had anything to say about this.
That's why I say I'd like to. We will probably never truly know.
That's why my question was, would Vince let that happen? I think the answer was no. I mean, he came out here and he like cried, and I thought his vocal cords were like tearing themselves apart.
They were.
He did his the Undertaker.
We're welcome to him, man.
It was.
He's not gonna get that. He's not gonna be that upset at Shane McMahon's funeral.
No,
because Vince is gonna outlive all of them. But
whose funeral, Jim?
Don't do it. Don't. You can't set yourself up for that. You.
Best in the world.
I didn't try it.
Shane McMahon.
I mean,
I thought we were going to be safe when we went through all of the guests and nobody brought his name up. I wasn't going to be the guy this week to do it.
This has always been my rule in my household. When my wife tries to, that's what she said, her own jokes, I always tell her she cannot set herself up for that. And if you're saying that name, you cannot then turn around and play the music.
I'm the only one that has the button.
Right, but if I like make a slip
and
I say the name.
That is part of the problem. I'm the host.
Slip and say the name, and then Ryan says, wait, what? And then you play it. That's one thing. But if you're the one saying it, knowing that you're going to hit that button.
I don't think he knew.
I say I didn't do that on purpose. You can believe me if you want or not, but I did not do that one on purpose.
I believe you, Jim.
Thank you, Ryan.
However, I thought that this final farewell fell flatter than flat. Like, if this is what we were going to get, if you were going to give us the Bone Street crew, all the people who wanted to pay respect to The Undertaker, if you wanted to do that and then have Taker come out and then give him the deal, or you don't introduce everyone and you reverse the order and Taker comes out, you do the Tesla coils, he gets in the ring, you literally change nothing. If you literally change nothing but the order and you do everything the exact same, but after Taker poses to hologram Paul Bearer, they surprise him and they walk everyone on the ramp one by one. And they give him the thank you Taker. and then you surprise him with like Michelle, and like you bring out AJ, you bring out like you could bring out literally anyone at the top of the ramp, all applauding the Undertaker. I think it goes over better. But because there's no interaction between those who are saying goodbye and the person that's leaving, Taker just came out, got airlifted on this thing, and then I think he got stuck because he didn't come down until way later. And then, like, it just... It left more questions than answers to me. Because, like, why do you do this? This isn't money. Like, there's nothing here. It is the biggest fluff piece in the history of fluff pieces. Now, it's cool. We're going to get cool stuff. Apparently there's like stuff in the works from everybody who came in.
Like documentaries and
I would love to see the day of this, or The Last Ride Chapter 6, Taker's Final Farewell, where they set everything up and you get the documentary of that. But, like, what's the point of bringing in the Bone Street crew if you're not going to have on-screen interaction?
That was goofy. Like, again, if you want him in the ring, fine. But yeah, why? Where was everybody? Like,
was there commentary during their intros? I forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were setting up like the Bone Street. Okay, I forgot that.
They absolutely were. And like Corey Graves was like misremembering WrestleManias.
Well,
right.
Yeah.
Well,
and like it's just.
And here's another thing. Like, this is another one of those moments, this year that it fucking sucks that there was not a crowd there for it. Like, and I get it. Like, you got to steer into the skid. You have to, work with what the world's giving us. But it sucked that there was not a crowd here because look back at WrestleMania 30, was it 33? Like, that was a more powerful moment because the crowd's there to acknowledge.
And I'll say this too. Even though it was already done, if the Undertaker had redid the coat and hat and glove spot,
I thought he was gonna.
I could forgive how flat this felt. But because he left the way he appeared, there's still this doubt that the Undertaker still exists. And it's not a final farewell. And maybe that was the plan. But if that's the plan sucks. I'm an Undertaker dude. He should have been done at 33. He wasn't. So you put him in the boneyard. That should have been it. It's not. You have Survivor Series. If not on the 30th anniversary of The Undertaker, then when? You bring him to Saudi Arabia and his heart explodes? Like, what? No, I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying if Vince is going to keep bringing The Undertaker out and he's going to insist on putting him in matches, at what point is it diminished returns and Taker is only doing this as a favor to Vince and not as I can seriously contribute to the entertainment value of this show as an in-ring competitor? I think that time has come and gone.
For the record, I don't think that we ever see that character again. I can see where you're.
I want it to be done too.
I can see where you're coming from and saying that.
I thought Shawn Michaels was done.
Theoretically, there's an open door, but I don't. Now, do we see, a guy on a motorcycle? I don't know, but I don't think we see. I don't think we see him in a wrestling world. I don't.
I don't think you can go back after what happened last night, or I'm sorry, a few nights ago, because it's Thursday night now. And do anything with the Undertaker again. And again, everything you said is very accurate. How flat it fell. I'm not going to put it on the level of like Bailey, this is your life. But I thought of that midway through. I'm like, God, this just isn't connecting. Like that segment didn't connect. Not fair to the Undertaker to say that, but it's the truth. After you've left WrestleMania 33, and it was so flawless, and it wasn't built up, and it was raw, and it felt real. And you had like the genuine like arm, like that was so good. So to come back and wrestle again, that's fine, but you can't send somebody off with a big send off. Like, and again, half of this, all everything you said, compound all of that with my like thought, and we talked about it last Thursday, that something was going to happen with the Fiend, the hottest thing the WWE has going right now on Survivor Series, which is a battle for brand supremacy. The Raw brand doesn't tee up the hottest fucking thing they have going anywhere. It's mind-blowing to me. I said in the chat,
but why would Bray Wyatt be on a team though?
I don't fucking know, Jim, because he's the hottest thing in the Raw.
But it doesn't make sense.
If the idea is win a match, why wouldn't you put him on the team?
Or try to.
They could have tried to, but to me it doesn't make sense.
That's fair, right? He probably wouldn't have, but at least mention him.
Fair.
I said in our group chat while we were watching it, half joking, and the more I thought about it, the more I would have liked to see it. The Tesla coil thing, which again didn't need happening, but in my theory, it has to happen. Everybody comes out, they come back to do the Tesla coils, and then it takes a while, and you got the blue, and it's slow, and the lights, and the entranceway, and the lights, and then slowly just walks out the Fiend. That's it. You don't get to see the Undertaker. Everybody would be pissed. Everybody would talk about it. You'd have to tune into Raw because you think something could happen. You could play it out. I don't fucking know. I'm just disappointed that nothing happened.
You could have even cut out the lights.
I just wanted to see him like slow, like that slow gait kind of walk the Fiend has.
But
just kind of have him walk out.
The Fiend doesn't even have to touch the Undertaker. The Undertaker does his turn back to the camera. You zoom in on Taker's face, and as he turns back around, they did the exact same camera cut for John Cena and the Fiend.
Yep.
Do that exact same ish where the Fiend just happens to be behind Cena. And then you cut to black before Fiend can touch him.
My only question to that is, like, okay, so you did that spot with Cena. Obviously, it led to a match. Yes, it ended up being the Firefly Funhouse match. But if the purpose behind last night is to retire the Undertaker, if you do that in that way, at least, doesn't it potentially, aren't people constantly going, well, he's gotta like avenge himself. He's gotta
maybe the Fiend is tipping his hat to another paranormal gimmick.
But that was my question, and you said no the other night.
Who?
My question was, Jim, I said, does Vince let Undertaker go out like that? If in any form you're saying no, then that's probably why that happened, because Vince was like, oh, well, if Fiend comes out, you have to avenge that.
Right. I was just making, because you posed a question. I was making a case for the fact that it was plausible because of that time-honored tradition. I wasn't necessarily saying that it was going to happen.
No, you have to back up your words.
I was the one who said time-honored tradition.
Tim was the one.
Just like I'm making you back up your grades, and you've now started putting numbers to them.
You're such a teacher, Matt.
To be fair, I've put numbers on them this whole time. If you haven't been paying attention to that, that's on you, not me.
That's fair.
But like, I was just responding to a question because, and I mean, Thursday was a long time ago, so I don't know.
Actually.
If I had specifically said that there was going to be an interaction, but once you posed that question, I was just making the case that yes, Vince could. Vince could.
Did you really believe that? And even now, thinking that, do you really?
No, I think there was a case that it could have happened. Absolutely.
That Vince would put his most treasured creation,
yes,
more so than him planting his own seed inside Linda twice and producing 2 offspring, Vince loves The Undertaker more than his own children. So you are saying that Vince is going to let his most prized creation go out like that, and you fully believe that? I just don't.
There's an absolute case for it
that's
because
why I
there's
posed
money
that
to
question.
be made. It's the same reason why Vince made the call to have Brock Lesnar end the streak, because there was money to be made, more money to be made with a broken streak than there was to be undefeated.
It's the same reason that you saw DX wrestle the Brothers of Destruction. Money was to be made. Nobody needed or wanted to see that match. That's a money match.
Sure, but that's a little different because that's money in hand. This is potential for money, because we all want to see that and we would have clamored to see that. But does Vince really buy into what the internet wrestling fans want to see? We know the answer to that is no.
No.
So you can't.
Then you said Retribution, and Retribution takes him down. They're against the WWE. What better way to make a message? I don't give a shit. Do something.
I'm just saying, like we've seen time and time again, Vince is certainly all about the dollar. I'm not arguing that, but there's two things that Vince loves more than money. One is Vince, and the other is the Undertaker. I don't think he threatens what he has in the Undertaker for someone like Bray. I never saw it. That's why I posed the question. Because I didn't think it would be possible that Vince is going to say.
And I mean, you did in turn out to be correct. But I was, my whole thing on Thursday night was I was making the point that there was a case to be made there.
Okay.
Because again, it is money to be made. I mean, it's the same whether
But my question is,
whether it's
down,
truthful or not.
Did you really believe that would happen? Did you really, like, as knowing Vince as a wrestling fan for 30 years, think that this could possibly happen? Not the case could be made for it to happen, but did you think it would happen?
I did not expect it to happen.
Okay.
For myself, I know, Ryan, you did.
I did.
Tim, did you?
I did, because I just.
And maybe that's why I said B versus worse.
I want Undertaker to be done, and the only way Taker to me is done is if, like, there's.
I mean, we all wanted what Tim presented to us to happen. Like,
absolutely.
Tim laid that out, and we were all, as wrestling fans, said yes. Right. But the other, yeah, exactly. But the main question was, like, as much as we wanted that to happen, did you really think it would? And Ryan, Tim, you really did think?
I really did. I waited. I mean, there were moments when Taker would pause in talking that I could hear that first sound of the theme. I mean, I waited, and here's going to happen here, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen at the top of the ramp, and it never happened. And again, that's a lot on me, and I'll own that. That's on me for setting an expectation that may not have happened.
B versus whatever grade you guys will give it.
This is why I don't like new things and like to try things, because I put myself out there and I get vulnerable and then I get hurt.
And Mark, you were on the show. Did you think that this was a possibility? I mean, you're probably beyond Tim, like, know more about wrestling history than any of us. Like, did you foresee Vince letting this happen?
Letting Wyatt come out with taking out the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Or the Fiend rather. I was really, really hopeful. I thought for sure that would be the way for him to go out to put over somebody. I mean, yeah, it's the time-honored tradition, as we've said. I was extremely hopeful, almost to the point where I set myself up for disappointment like everybody else did, it sounds like. But that whole segment, too, as much as I like The Undertaker, it was, and part of it because there's no live crowd, it fell flat. And maybe not through any fault of The Undertaker, but it could have been so much better. So it was disappointing.
Mark, that's a great point. We talked about the fans being there as a respect thing, but, like, in my mind at this point today, I feel like the Ultimate Warrior had a better send off with his speech at Raw with fans than we saw last night with The Undertaker. And that's not fair to Taker. That's just not.
And that's why I said
Ric Flair send off.
I tweeted it last night that like, fuck this year, fuck this goddamn virus, because this moment belonged in front of a crowd. You know,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
what, even though the words that he said, I think go over better if there's 20,000 people in the fucking building.
Well, I mean,
Like, go back to Raw 25. For as bad as Raw 25 was, and I know his promo was like weird and a little bit convoluted, but it had almost a like retirement-ish vibe to it, and that went over better than last night did, because there was a crowd there to react to it.
I
And
mean,
that's
then
what,
to bail, or not to bail out, but to give kind of more weight to what Tim and Ryan thought would happen. If this is in front of a live crowd, I'm more open to this actually happening. Like Vince with a live crowd, I can 100% see him
reaction
giving you that moment. But with it being taped, no live crowd, it's a little bit tougher probably for Vince to swallow that than if he's like, I'm going to bring this fucking house down with this moment.
But at the same time, there was a huge media blitz on the 30th anniversary of The Undertaker. It was the final farewell. You were getting older eyes back on the product. Maybe people who haven't been captivated, or people who remember the luster or the shine of the original Phenom and how spooky he was and how he drew fear into the hearts of men. And that's the opportunity where you give them the new version of the old thing. And you give them the new model. Like, at some point, we as we have to stop using no fans as a crutch. They don't give a shit that there's not fans there, because they're doing live stuff. They're doing the Thunderdome, and they're doing all of the. They've found a way to make what they claim the most valuable resource in the entire WWE is, the WWE universe, is a moot point. There's no fans. They did WrestleMania, the pinnacle of everything in WWE, with no fans.
Yep.
So at some point, it's a television product. That's what they're giving us. So it's not the people there, it's the people watching at home. You clip that up, and then you put that on every news media outlet that will cover it. ESPN, CBS Sports, TMZ. You put it on everything.
You clip that segment and make it better than it came across.
Right.
But for us, that segment was not as good as it could have been, should have been, because there was no people there.
There's one last chance now. And that's when Taker goes into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's the last chance.
And you don't do that until this goddamn virus is fucking over.
I think you put him in this year.
Why? There's not going to be anybody there.
There might be.
I don't think there's going to be anybody there.
I think they're going to have some people.
They're in Florida. Florida's operating on a different set of rules.
They are. I mean, let's be honest. Even Pennsylvania at this point is like, guys, just don't do it, please. Please don't do it.
Well, no, Pennsylvania is back on lockdown as of today.
I mean, yes and no, but there's no enforcement.
I mean, it's suggested lockdown, I think, right? It's like, hey, why don't you guys try staying at home, right?
Guys, don't go across state lines. Don't.
Well, no, Wolf said today, if you can work from home, unless it's impossible, were his words, you should be working from home.
He said Kim possible. Let me
of all things
come back to the theme here real quick.
That was
Kim
good. Kim Possible. That got me.
Did this not happen because the Fiend is face?
I just think it didn't happen because it was more for the Undertaker, like in Vince's mind.
I mean, no. If like the Fiend was a possibility, would that have crossed anybody's mind? Like, this guy's not really a heel. Doing this would make him a heel.
I don't know. I don't know if it does.
Really?
I think it does. I think it
I don't think it does.
I think if there's crowd there and the Fiend comes out and chokes out the Undertaker,
they love it.
The Fiend comes out to booze on Monday Night Raw.
No.
Really? So it's not his yard anymore
because
because
the fans there
break the Fiend out though.
The fans there know that the Undertaker's gone, and it's the transference of power from the Undertaker to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt isn't taking the Undertaker away from us. He was making sure the Undertaker's or the Fiend. The Fiend's not taking the Undertaker away from us. The Undertaker was leaving. The Fiend just took what he could from the Undertaker.
That's fair.
And fed off of the Undertaker to be stronger than he's ever been.
Gotcha.
It's a mythical character. You can make this ish up. Like, it's not like you literally can do anything with Bray Wyatt.
You're right. I mean, heels and faces are a very real thing.
And at this point, the bulk of the people watching wrestling are people like us who would just eat that up. We would just
That's true. I think right now there's not a huge casual audience right now. I don't think there's a casual audience for pretty much anything at this point. If you look at, ratings for pretty much every sport, I mean, everything across the board. And I mean, and also again, streaming things, but I think that the people that are really keyed in to specific things are the people who are actually like big time fans of those certain things.
Fair.
But yeah.
Any other thoughts to this? Otherwise, we'll wrap up.
I'm good.
Like I said, Survivor Series got a B+ for me, based on the grades that I gave. We'll go around. Tim.
C+.
Matt.
C.
Intern Mark.
I'd give it a C+, but we didn't touch on the really stands out to me was the gobbledygooker becoming a 24/7 champion. I really enjoyed that.
Forgot.
That was a great moment.
Even though it was on the pre-show.
These fucking wads like Alvarez that like try explaining this one to non-fans. I'm like, first off, not everything in wrestling has to make sense to non-fans. Sometimes it's nice for there to be a moment that wrestling fans who have invested 10, 20, 30 years into this get to go, oh my God, that's pretty fucking cool. Like, or get a laugh or a smile or whatever. Like, it not on a 3-hour show, not everything has to be. How do I explain this?
Especially with the 24/7 title.
Right. It's a comedy act. And also, not to be this, it's a bird eating bird seed. What's hard to understand about that?
Like, how are you going to look back in years and be like, well, look, son, gobbledygooker, I mean, they got the best of him this time.
Like, my wife.
How do you explain that character ever to even begin with it?
Oh,
my wife was like, what is that thing? I said, it's the gobbledygooker. She goes, that means nothing. I said, okay, so it was Survivor Series on Thanksgiving, and it was like a turkey, and it hatched on Survivor Series. She goes, oh, okay. At no point did she go, I don't get it. Like,
I mean, she didn't get it, Jim. She just didn't say it.
No, she would have been like, that's stupid, or I don't get it, or like, she's not afraid to tell me something on wrestling is stupid. Now she'll still sit with me and watch usually for about an hour or so. But like a bird it's James Woods on Family Guy, piece of candy. It's the same gimmick. You lured a bird in with bird seed. What's hard to explain? How can you like, if you would have lured him in with molasses, maybe I wouldn't have understood that, but it's bird seed. But Mark, did you your grade for the show?
Oh, I would give it a C+.
And Ryan.
Yeah, I feel bad because gosh darn it, the boys tried, but I'll give it a 79%. So just missing the B- mark. It is a C+.
All right, very good. We had one question from Rodney. He said, "Did we see the pics WWE the photo series they put out of superstars dressed up as different incarnations of the Undertaker?" Which one was your favorite? For me, and it's because I always loved the gray gloves and all that, but I thought Nakamura, his portrayal of that was my favorite.
That's the one.
Honorable mention to Alexa Bliss, because I love Alexa Bliss. Tim,
Yeah, Nakamura for sure.
Matt.
Yep, same order, and the honorable mention to Alexa Bliss because that was on point.
It absolutely was. Intern Mark.
Yeah, Nakamura killed it. No pun intended.
and Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, I love Nakamura. In fact, they should just rebrand him as the new Undertaker starting next week.
I would actually not hate that. All right. Does anybody have anything to plug? Let's go around the room. Honestly, for me, I'm just gonna wrap this up unless anybody else wants to throw anything in there. I hope everybody will have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Had.
Well,
I'm
gonna release it on the Patreon, so
check out the 3 Count Thursday Instagram. We will be posting a collage of wrestlers we are thankful for on Thanksgiving, so make sure you're checking that out.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll be back live next week. Hope you enjoy it. Go to 3countthursday.com. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. Until next week, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin. Recount Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app. That's arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?